Yes, thank you. Is there anyone in the room who doesn't know what Huawei is? Good. You see, Mr. Trump does an excellent job in our marketing department. That's why. Okay, 5G is like Yeti, ladies and gentlemen, because hardly anyone has seen it, but a lot of people have already talked about it, right? So I don't have an ambition to explain 5G to you over 10 minutes, but I do have ambition to dispel some myths, some security myths which plague current discussion on 5G. But let's first deal with the original sin of 5G marketing. You've seen that, right? Compared to 4G, it's 30 to 50 times less latency in 5G, right? 16 times faster, 100 times more capacity in terms of connections per square meter. It's, deals in a better way with mobility at faster speeds. And at the end of the day, you can slice the network like that, or that, to deliver virtualized networks with different parameters to different business customers, right? So, please tell me what's the main driver behind 5G. Is it speed? Anyone for speed? No one. Latency? No one. So what is it? Any ideas? So, ladies and gentlemen, let me announce that it is the same reason which actually brought us here, which brought us to the business, which is money. And it's not exactly the money operators would like to earn. First of all, it is the money they need to save. The data traffic in mobile networks is growing 40% year by year, right? At this rate, in many networks, in many locations, it will get saturated within the next 2 years, and there will be no more fast internet. Operators need to deliver more capacity, needs to extend the capacity of the networks. And they have two choices. Either you do that using existing technologies, 4G technologies, or find a more cost-effective alternative. And operators' business, it's not an easy business nowadays, right? Because, we have all having promotions for €5, right? And we are not going to give it out. As a result, operator business is the only business in the world when they sell more and more and more and get less and less and less and less, right? So they don't have money. Now, the trick is that 5G technology is more cost-effective, right? So it gives more bang for the bucks. Actually, an operator willing to extend capacity of the network will invest a third of what he would invest using existing 4G technology, and that's the trick. Now, still, they will need to invest, and they don't have money, right? So they need to generate more revenue. And here comes the promise of 5G with all these wonderful parameters of speed, latency, blah, blah, blah. This is the light in the tunnel for operators, because this is the promise, this is the only chance to move up the value chain from selling simple services for cheap to moving up the ladder and differentiating and selling more sophisticated options, especially to business subscribers. So it's really all about money. And all these fancy solutions like driverless cars, like some say even military solutions, are not embedded in 5G standard. It is our choice as consumers, as governments, as operators, what we do with this technology. This technology will only deliver potential. There are no predefined use cases embedded. This is up to us. And if we choose to use this technology for something it wasn't designed for, we need to take the risk or provide some additional security on top. All right, speaking about security, technically 5G is very simple, right? It consists of access networks, so radio access networks, it's this side of the room, and the core network where the main logic sits. If you look at the radio network, the new radio network, security-wise, it's an incremental improvement. Privacy is better protected. There is integrity protection for user traffic. There is also a potential for longer encryption key length to future-proof the solution for quantum computing in the far, far, far future. But other than that, it's not different to 4G radio access network. From security standpoint, if you hear that the attack surface is bigger, blah, 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 because 4G was hardware and 5G is software, it's simply not true. Anyone trying to tell you that there is a difference between hardware and software between 4G and 5G probably didn't see a base station in the flesh. Huawei's base station, just to give you an example, for 4G was up to 240 million lines of code. Such hardware it was. And actually, it will not change over to 5G. It is the same. The attack surface is the same. The only difference is that the product is new. So quite naturally, when there is a new product, we as security people need to take care of it, right? That's the only difference. Now, the core network. If you think about core network, think about private clouds. Think about containers. Think about RESTful APIs. Think about HTTP. Think about TLS. Think about IPsec connected to the radio network. Did I mention anything mysterious to you? Anything you haven't heard before? No. And this is because all security-related technologies that will be used in 5G core networks are currently, as we speak, used in Slovakia. More, many of those technologies, as we speak, are currently already used in mobile networks in Slovakia. Because many operators of today have virtual core in pretty much the same fashion as 5G, right? So actually, this is not mysterious. This is not really new. Products will be new. Combining all those technologies together by design will be new. But there is no mysterious technology coming in 5G, right? Yes, we need to prepare because the products will be new. Operators need to understand it. Vendors need to implement it in a secure fashion. 3GPP is working on secure standards. Regulators have a role, right? Because as a vendor, I can publicly say, yes, we expect security requirements from regulators. That's fair game, right? But let's talk engineering, not politics. That's the difference. Okay. The best news is that even if you think that 5G core is more sophisticated, right, and new because of the combination of those existing technologies, the good news, it's not going to happen over the next years. 5G, the 5G you're reading about, is a new radio base stations connected to existing core networks. Nothing more, nothing less. So please tell me, where are the dangers? Where are the new threats we are reading about? Where is this increased attack surface we are reading in risk analysis? This is all myths. From engineering and security point of view, this is simply not correct. So we have 3 to 5 years to prepare ourselves as operators, vendors, regulators, for the change which will happen in the core. And this change, as I say, will not be a mysterious technology. Just to give you an example, our 5G core, as Huawei product, runs on something which is called Huawei Fusion Sphere. It sounds very mystical, right? Very Chinese, I would say. Now, Fusion Sphere is a commercial distribution of OpenStack, which is an open source cloud operation systems. supported not only by Huawei, but also by AT&T, Intel, SUSE, right? So how mysterious it can get. A little bit about the radiation. It's not strictly cybersecurity, but actually it also adds to the myth. Very shortly, very shortly. Have you ever or recently used a hairdryer? Anyone? I used, and look, right? Probably it wasn't because of radiation, but the fact remains that the radiation caused by a hairdryer next to your head is more or less the same as the radiation from 5G base stations at a distance of 2 meters. Right? If you take the same base station at a distance of 50 centimeters, the radiation will be similar to that generated by a fridge. This is the environment we are living in, right? And it is very important to be based on facts and measurements rather than some mythical cancer-inducing theories. Okay, so hardly any brand new threats, apart from new products and additional sophistication we need to tackle. But does 5G environment or ecosystem brings anything additional of value, apart from incremental improvements, right? Because as the system, as a standard, it will be the most secure mobile network we know, right? Yes. You know, talking as a long-term CISO at operators, I can tell you that over more than 20 years, right, to date, when choosing a vendor for a mobile network, from security point of view, I had only two choices: either test it by myself for security or trust the vendor. Often I chose to test, but I had a team of 100 people, right? Not many operators have the capacity and skill set to actually test the solution by themselves each time. Now, 5G is the first mobile network in human history, civilian mobile network in human history, which will provide a system, well, a framework for the vendors to be tested against the same rules, against the same specifications, and by third parties, right? It is called NESAS. 3GPP, so the folks producing technical standards, have produced specifications how to test 5G network elements, right? GSMA took it, added a methodology to test and verify vendors' processes like patch management, development process, change management, business continuity, etc., everything which is relevant to security, and selected external parties that will do the technical testing and processes review. And this is called NESAS. And the report from this testing and from this review will be available for operators for free. So actually an operator purchasing a solution from a vendor will get a report from the tests and from processes review, right? This is the first time in history. Never ever had operators such a chance for an independent review. And this is just one of the schemes we heard before, as I understood, Slovak, about common criteria, for instance, about certification schemes being developed under Cybersecurity Act. And this is yet another framework, yet another idea, yet another solutions to make the 5G secure for everyone. But what we need to do is really be based on facts, on research, be based on understanding and on measurements. And that's it, that's engineering. Thank you very much